I'd like to welcome the esteemed Bhanodai Pippala up for his table topics section of the meeting. Bhanodai.
Thank you, Ryan. What is Table Topics? Table Topics is the second section of this meeting that tests your impromptu, on-the-spot speaking skills. What exactly is the purpose of that? Really to help you for class presentations and especially interviews. This past semester, as a senior graduating in May, I've had a ton of interviews, and this section has allowed me to improve those skills for the interview and being able to get those hard questions down and being able to really think on the spot. Typical Toastmaster, or excuse me, a typical table topics section has a table topics master like myself guiding the particular section. I will call you down to answer a particular question. Don't freak out, do the best that you can. And today's questions shouldn't be too hard. They're all centered around one theme, the Super Bowl. Even if you don't have any knowledge about the NFL, National Football League, or players, any type of aspect of football, don't worry. You can make things on the spot. I won't fact check you, maybe someone in the crowd will, but don't worry, I'm the one that will judge you with regards to the questions. So let's have our first question. Yesterday, as you all know, Maroon 5 had a very interesting halftime show. I don't want to talk about it other than the fact that it was interesting. I would like you, with your unlimited budget, as demanded by the NFL, to make your own halftime show. And you can pick the place, city, maybe somewhere else, other than Atlanta, and who will be able to perform in it. Again, unlimited budget, you can do whatever you'd like with this. 60 seconds is the minimum, 2 minutes is the maximum, meet the 60-second minimum. I would like to have on the stage, Ben, as the first person.
So if I could do the halftime show anywhere with an unlimited budget, I would correct the great wrong that has been done from this past Super Bowl halftime. I would build a bikini bottom set, complete with all of the different buildings, Giant Pineapple, Sandy's Place, Krusty Krab, Plankton's Chum Bucket, all of those. And I would have a full live reenactment of Sweet Victory. And they would, instead of ruining the Super Bowl halftime show with this short little clip, Super Bowl now has to be played in Bikini Bottom with a football field there. And take up the entire halftime show with Sweet Victory. That's exactly what I would do. And I would... let's see, what else can I do? Oh, I can have a short 6-second clip of Maroon 5. I would definitely do that. And let's see, that is all. That's what I do.
Great answer, Ben. I'd actually like you all to raise your hand. I'm not going to pick you based on whether or not you raise your hand or not. But raise your hand if you've ever been to the Civil Rights and Human Rights Center in Atlanta. That's next to the aquarium. Only 2 people. Well, Coca-Cola, as you all know, Pepsi has sponsored the Super Bowl yesterday, which was in the heart of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, in response, actually donated $1 million to the Civil and Human Rights Center in Atlanta for free admission this month. So please make sure that you have a chance to go. I thought I knew a lot about the civil rights movement being an American history buff, but when I went there, I learned a lot more, not just about the history, but the social, political, and economic aspects of it. I would like you, in 2020, Coca-Cola has now decided to give you $1 million donation to you, for you to choose what type of organization or charity that you would like to give that $1 million to, and why. Why that particular organization or charity. I would like to have on the stage Alex to pick your organization or charity.
You said you were picking people who raise their hands.
Oh no, that was random, seriously.
I'm not charity, man.
Well, I'm giving a random $1 million from Coca-Cola. It's a fresh, cool million. Now, my decision would be varied and difficult because there are a million charitable organizations out there. I could donate it to an organization that would deal with homelessness in Athens, but I feel like that wouldn't really end it. Or I could do something foreign. Maybe not too foreign. My last name is foreign, and after all, it's Haitian. So maybe something with the Carter Center, dealing with the Caribbean. I wouldn't really mind that. But I don't know. It would have to be something that truly kind of speaks to me. So I would think the best place would be my hometown in New York. A place that truly needs charity, not because it's so poor, but honestly, because none of you would know what it is, or where it is, honestly. So I would like for all of you to raise your hands if you've ever heard of a little place called Spring Valley, New York. Really?
I'm from New York, so.
Spring Valley?
Not Spring Valley, though.
Oh. So then, why raise your hand?
You said new.
I said Spring Valley, New York.
Then you say whether you knew of it.
Knew of a place in New York called Spring Valley, New York.
Yes.
I said Spring Valley, the specific place, sir. Never mind. Yeah, as you can tell, that place truly needs charity. So if there was a charitable organization out there for Spring Valley, New York, well, I'd probably have to start it. But I'd donate for that town. Because God knows that that's a town full of Haitian people who are just speaking Haitian and kind of building the town to be Haitian in and of itself. It needs new storefronts. It needs its old drama center rebuilt. Heck, it has its own homeless problem. That could be a solution right there. But my time's up for now.
Left minimum. Now, third question. Julian Edelman is a player on the New England Patriots who won the Most Valuable Player Award. Typically, the most valuable player, as the title states, goes to the individual who has made the greatest outcome to the game. I would like to know, who is the most valuable player or thing in your life? Who exactly has impacted you the most? Who's your personal MVP? I'd like to have FR to come to the stage and let us know who your personal MVP is.
Nice meeting you.
Yep, you too.
Okay, my name is FR. I met a person a couple months ago. I didn't think they'd be that impactful. This has to kind of do with like I know a lot of people aren't religious, but I mean, I kind of like thinking I'm a little bit religious. So this person, his name is Nadeem. You might know him. He's a kind of religious guy, but when I first met him, I was like, hey, he's just a regular guy. But I mean, his knowledge is what was like the most impactful thing, you know? He could like communicate information to you. It could be really deep and profound, but he would communicate in the simplest manner. And I mean, it would help you implement that in your own life. So for myself, whenever I saw him multiple times, you know, I mean, he would always have these like tidbits to tell you, like moral lessons almost, but it would always be to make your life better. I mean, there have definitely been other people who have had an impact, but the one who's had, I would say, a profound impact recently, you know, would have to be my parents have definitely been impactful. They've helped me in my life, you know, but in terms of like the religious aspect, you know, I think he deserves a mention at least. That's all.
Pretty good answers from all three so far. For our next question. You're able to make your own team, where it's going to be at, colors of the uniforms, what type of concessions are going to be offered. Let me know. What is your fantasy team? You have a $10 billion donation from Bill Gates to start it. No restrictions. Let's have you, right next to Nasir, come up to the stage. Tell us your dream team. Come on. What's your name?
Shruti.
Shruti?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm useless.
Don't worry, just make stuff up.
So just a dream team.
Yeah.
For
You don't have to know any players, just colors, where it's going to be at, type of concessions like food you want the team to serve or the stadium to serve, where is it based, stuff like that. Again, you have $10 billion.
From Bill Gates of all people.
Okay. So, I don't know much about sports, I don't watch much sports, but I'd say a good dream team would probably be, well, let's say the colors could be blue and gold, and just a team that could, something that's entertaining, doesn't just focus on people that like sports, not just like sports fans, maybe just focus on like a larger crowd so you could attract more people would go to the game. So have different activities, not just music, like, you know, different activities that people could, you know, that would allow people to enjoy the game more, not just sports games, maybe more art or just more programs or like dance events probably, more music, different types of food. Yeah, just more than just sports. That's what I'm trying to say. Like something like people like going to Coachella or like Music Midtown and all these stuff. So maybe add that into it so more people go to games. Yeah, maybe different types of foods, like different types of cuisines, not just like pretzels or chips or something, like Italian, Chinese. And you did mention that there's like $10 billion.
Yeah.
So you could afford anything. Just diversify it, add different cultures into it, and different talents, so you could attract a wide variety of people.
It's currently recording. What were you going to say? Okay. No problem. Great answer. That's certainly unique, just having different foods. I don't think they have Chinese food at the stadium, Mercedes-Benz, so that would be a very interesting idea. I hope maybe Bill Gates can certainly listen to that idea. Give you the $10 million just for Chinese food. That would be an interesting segue. However, I don't think that's going to be reality. Every year, as we know, the Super Bowl has interesting commercials, and we know one brand is pretty well known for their weird Super Bowl commercials, and that is Doritos. I would like this next individual to give a pitch to the executive team, right here, Doritos, for a 60-second commercial for next year's Super Bowl. And I'd like to have you. Do you have a role for this meeting?
Yeah, I'm evaluating.
Are you are? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
You still
How are
look
you?
that up.
What's your name?
Preciosa.
Preciosa. So, since you just walked in, the main purpose here is just come up to the stage and answer a question for 60 seconds. You can do that? Can you make it? Perfect. That's better than not doing it. Let's come on down. All right. Do you need me to repeat the question, or?
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Okay. Great to meet you. All right. So the question is, here's the exec board team for Doritos, and they're listening to your 60-second minimum pitch, 2-minute maximum for next year's Doritos commercial. Go ahead, take the stage. Pitch them a commercial.
So, I'm thinking we incorporate this year's past memes into the Doritos commercial. Kind of like a chronological timeline of memes. Only from this past year, in order to stay relevant. What do you think?
I like that idea. Especially the bird box memes.
The Bird Box memes, Shaggy memes
Oh
that
gosh.
have been coming up. The Kylie Jenner egg, perhaps.
What? Oh, well, that's just I just don't know what that is. Kylie Jenner?
So, on Instagram, there was this huge trend of a picture of an egg, a simple egg, but it broke the record for the most amount of likes, and the particular caption was directed towards Kylie Jenner because she previously held the world's most likes on Instagram.
That's it.
Yep, it's just an egg.
It's a famous name.
So it's the the same egg I could cook for breakfast?
Yes,
No, no, no.
same exactly.
Pretty different, it's like famous.
But it's an egg I could take, crack it open, and go, this is my fried egg for lunch or breakfast or dinner.
Alex, this is not your question.
Perfect. Could you spell your name?
Preciosa, E-R-E-C-I-O-S-A.
C-I-O-S-A. Cool. Awesome. And it looks like we do have to cut table topics short today. Typically it's around 10 questions, but since we had a little delay in the start of our meeting, we have 5 pretty awesome answers though. Ben with his halftime with SpongeBob and 6-second Maroon 5 intro, or a little clip in the middle. Alex with his Coca-Cola $1 million donation to, what was this?
Spring Valley, New York.
Spring Valley.
That's when everybody used to get.
FR with his personal MVP, Nadine, right?
Wait, say it again?
Nadine?
Close enough.
Cool, okay. Shruti with her dream team and Chinese food, that would be interesting. Preciosa with Doritos memeable commercial, that's very interesting. We're all speakers in time for this section.
Alex was a little bit over.
Define a little bit.
Like 20 seconds.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, not perfect, but good enough. All of the speakers are eligible for you to vote in whoever's like the best table topic speaker. Look at the bottom of your ballot. You have the choice between Ben, Alex, FR, Shruti, and Preciosa. Is that all correct?
Can you vote for yourself multiple times?
I mean, the first half of your question, you can vote for yourself. The second half, that's sketchy. I guess there isn't anything stopping you from doing that. But, yeah. No, this is the answer to
Got it.
I'll give you all 1 minute. Again, the purpose of this section is making sure that you can answer the weirdest questions and being able to really think on the spot and help you with interviews eventually. But overall, y'all did a great job of being able to meet that minimum 60 seconds. Some employers, even if they give you a weird question, they want to at least see how you react in like a pressure type of situation. Like one time for my latest interview, they asked me, how would you describe yourself in a team? In one word. They really wanted to see like what type of response you would give. Like, can you even answer this question? And what really is your train of thought? And again, this is on the spot. You don't have time to rehearse your answer. It's not something that really comes up multiple times. So again, that's really the purpose of this. Really being able to, you know, familiarize yourself and don't feel as pressured for future questions.
What was your answer?
What's that?
What was your answer?
Equal. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not copyrighted.
What? No, I said equal, and then I described how it would like help everyone, and then if I needed to ask questions in the interview, and now I'm talking about my interview response. Now I'd like to introduce back to the stage Ryan, who will now introduce us to other sections, including our evaluations. Let's welcome back up.